I can do this with my eyes closed. It's too easy. Too easy. I can do this with my eyes closed. It's too easy. Too easy. It's too easy. I've been there, done it, seen it. Boy, all that like Kenny. Still got crack, they fiendin'. Flow still hot like Phoenix. Shine so bright, I'm gleaming. This off top, I'm tweaking. Fresh out the rat like Neiman. And I'm still tryna fight my demons. Cause we all gotta act like Tina. That's why I gotta ride with the Nina. Outside, it's a war going on. Maybe put my hands on my head like the Macarena. They want you walking on board like Kima. And give an F to you like John Cena. Putting blood on the brand new Beamer. Tryna earn they stripes like Adidas. You get cold when you ride with the heater. It'll turn you to a dog like a Keeta. And expose to a cat like a cheetah. They smoke my partner like reefer. Dímelo porque yo no entiendo. Mi gente must really need Jesus. They said real blood, I never seen the crypt and I believe it. It's too easy.
Good morning. Good morning. If you're in the chat, hit me with a good morning. Happy week 14 to everyone out there. We're here Sunday morning to answer all your last minute questions. DFS, season long, sports betting, prop bets, whatever you guys got. We're getting close to season long playoffs. Should be starting up like next week, I think, for most. Next week or the week after, I guess, for most leagues. A lot of my leagues start next week, the playoffs. So we got that coming up. Frank, Austin, Jeff, Lady B. Smith, Carlos, Sean, TV Guy, RJ, Matt, Nick, Sean, Kevin, good morning. Anthony, good morning. Going for 7 in a row in cash. That's good. I actually like this slate. I feel pretty good about my builds. There's one joined up DFS Karma, thanks for the promo. Yeah, I got you. Yeah, if you guys are interested, if you want to sign up and tail my cores today, Matt's, AC's, all our analysts, message me on Twitter or in the Discord or something, and I might be able to hook you guys up. Jim, good morning. CJ, good morning. I like this slate, though. I like my builds. There's one 2v2 I'm deciding on in cash. My core's up. Like, I'm pretty sure I know what I'm going, but I'm going to look at some final stuff after I get off here. But I like my builds. I like my tournament builds. I think this is a fun slate. I also think I'll probably be posting in the last few weeks in the Discord. I've posted an afternoon slate core for DraftKings. I'll probably do that again today. It's a good afternoon slate again today. We have, the Niners in the afternoon slate, Chargers, Broncos, Chiefs, Bills. Is there another game? What's the other game? Oh, Vikings, Raiders. All the good games are in the 4 o'clock window again. So might be posting an afternoon core. Jim, good morning. All right. So if you guys have questions, you guys can go ahead and start asking those. For me, I'll go with just a grand view of the slate here before I start getting into this. There was more injury stuff on this slate than the last few weeks. RJ, I'll message you on Twitter after this, and I'll help you out. More injury stuff than the past few weeks. So we had this overnight stuff with the Saints. No Taysom Hill, which I kind of assumed he wasn't going to play because he didn't practice all week, but that's actually a big factor here. I think that really, really changes stuff for Alvin Kamara. Alvin Kamara was already a good play with no Michael Thomas, no Rashid Shaheed. He's already a good play against the worst run defense in the NFL. And then now you take out any threat of Taysom Hill stealing red zone work, stealing goal line touches, makes him a very, very good play. Looks like Joe Flacco will be starting for the Browns, which is to be expected. Geno Smith is still up in the air. I think I'm 60-40 that he plays, but I actually I wouldn't really mind him not playing because I think anybody that's like going to play Seattle, like no one's stacking the Seahawks, but I mean, anyone that's going to play any Seattle receivers, I think they would be less inclined to do that if Geno was out. But I actually don't think it really makes much of a difference. I mean, Geno hasn't played up to what we saw from him last year this year anyways. Drew Lock is one of the more capable backups in the league. At least he's played NFL games before. And he is more of like a gunslinger. Like he'll just throw, like, I mean, he turns the ball over, but he'll just YOLO throw the ball around. So I actually like the Seattle receivers in mini stacks with the Niners guys a lot. And I think that I actually hope Geno doesn't play, and then people won't be as inclined to play any Seattle stuff. Thoughts on CEH for Fantaquest? Yeah, and then that's the other big injury thing here was the CEH stuff. I mean, we got that news earlier because that came out Friday that Pacheco wasn't going to play. Dewan, what's up? But I don't know. I think that I think CEH is a fine play. I don't think he's a must play, but I think he's a fine play. I think people initially, like when we got that news, it seemed like a lot of people didn't want to play CEH, and they were like, everyone was like, oh, I'd rather play McKinnon, like pivot to McKinnon. But I don't know. I think that I think CH is a better play straight up to McKinnon. And you guys, if you guys have followed me for a few years, like like a couple years ago, like I was really on McKinnon. That year he went crazy with the Chiefs. It was 2 seasons ago. I mean, we rode that out pretty hard late in the season, playing Jerick McKinnon. I think the situation is different this year. First and foremost, he's old, which I think is a factor. He hasn't been playing, which is a factor for me. And I think that like at this current state of the Chiefs, everybody knows they whiffed so hard on that CH pick. It's like I feel like they're inclined to use him and see if they can get anything from him. But McKinnon hasn't played for 2 weeks. Like he's been banged up. So I don't know, like even though he practiced in full Thursday and Friday, can you guarantee me he's fully healthy? I don't think you can. So I think CH is a fine play, not a must play. I think that for me personally, when it comes to like a cash game build, CH was a must play 2 days ago. Now that we've got for me personally, because someone else just asked cash locks on DraftKings, I don't see how you don't have Kamara and McCaffrey in your cash lineup. I think that those are the 2 best plays on the slate. And before I was playing Kamara, it was very easy. You just play CMC, Moss, CH, and then you figure the rest out. Now you have to choose between Moss and CH, and I don't know if I'm willing. Obviously, that saves you a lot in salary, $5,900 versus $4,200 on DraftKings, but I don't know if I'm willing to drop off of Zach Moss. Just feel really secure with Zach Moss's role. There's 0 questions about his role. It's one of the obviously the Chiefs game has the highest total on the slate, but Indy Cincy has a good total as well. Weather looks fine. I am expecting some scoring there, so I'm not really willing to drop off of Zach Moss. So I think for me, cash, it's Zach Moss, CMC, Kamara, and then you go from there. You plug those 3 guys in and figure the rest out. All right, let me see where these questions start. Jeff, you have a Minshew, Stafford, Dobbs, and Browning fantasy league playoff game. Who would you start? If it was my team, Jeff, I think I'd be rolling Jake Browning today. Can't believe I'm saying that, but yeah, I think it's Browning for me. In terms of like just projection, he projects the best of those 3. I like the game environment more for him also. So I think it's him versus Minshew. Stafford and Dobbs you could put to the side. So I think you decide between Browning and Minshew. I think that game's the best, and it's one of those 2. But I think if it was my team, I'd go Browning. But Minshew is right there. Those guys are neck and neck for me, Jeff. But I think you're deciding between those 2. Stafford is a pass for me, and then Dobbs. I just feel better about Minshew and Browning at this current state. For all the marbles, last man in a full point PPR, Kupp, Puka, or Rashee Rice. I can't believe Taylor having this. I can't believe we're having this conversation. if you would have said that at the beginning of the season, that's just absurd. I think it's Rice, man. I think that I'm not really worried about weather, but Baltimore does have the sketchiest weather situation of the whole slate. But I don't think you can argue the ascension of Rashee Rice here. I mean, 9 targets in back-to-back games. He's coming off a season high in snap count. I think that I could see him setting another season high snap count today because he's clearly their best receiver. He's been their best receiver for multiple weeks, and they're finally coming around to it. And I mean, look, that game has the highest total on the board, and it's a must-win game for both teams. The Bills need to win to get in the playoffs, and I mean, KC coming off that loss to Green Bay, like they're not even in spot for the number 1 seed anymore. So must win for both teams. Give me Rashee Rice over those guys. Season long pick 2, Kenneth Walker, CH, Herbert, Sutton. Oh man, Sean, give me Clyde and Sutton, I think, to be honest with you. Top FanDuel stack, Frank, for me. Really like the Cincy Indy game. Really like, obviously, KC and Buffalo. And then if you want a cheaper one, I'm kind of into some Desmond Ridder today. Desmond Ridder's been good at home. One of my best weeks of the season was a Desmond Ridder tournament team. Went crazy earlier this season. Honest to God, might have been when they played the Bucs the first time. I can't remember. Actually, I don't think it was because they were on the road. They were at home when this happened, and they played the Bucs on the road the first time. But really, really good spot against Tampa. We've been targeting Tampa with quarterbacks the last few weeks. Desmond Ridder's been good at home. And he's just so cheap. I mean, you can put Ridder in, Drake London, and then, I mean, you can fit literally whatever else you want. So, do you have any Flacco? Mitchell, Let me answer that for you. I do have one Flacco team, I think, just for fun. I'm playing 8 teams today on DraftKings, more than usual. Usually I play 4 or 5. Playing 8 teams today. I do have one Flacco, but mainly, like, it's my Mitchell, to be honest with you, it is my lowest volume lineup in terms of entries. It's just, I just made it for fun, really, because I think it's funny. Like, could you imagine Joe Flacco just it's just like, it's 2023, like, it's just absurd. 2 touchdown player Keaton from me. 2 TDs today. It has to be Alvin Kamara. I mean, it's a chalky pick, but I am fully bought into the no Taysom narrative. Like, Alvin Kamara has to be just so excited that he gets to play a game without Taysom Hill. Like, just no threat. Now, I'm sure they'll bring Jamal Williams in a little bit, but he has to be excited to play in a game without Taysom Hill. So, has to be Kamara for the 2 touchdowns. Riding the hot hand when you have Eckler in your backfield. Mitchell, I don't know. I don't even really believe that, to be honest with you. Like, I don't know. I don't really believe that. But at the same time, what does Austin Eckler give you on the ground? Like, even last year, like, he really's not going crazy on in terms of, like, his rushing yards, right? Like, his games are for fantasy is when he racks up a bunch of catches. So I don't know. I'm not really playing. I mean, I made more teams today, but I'm not playing much large field stuff. You guys know, mainly the stuff I play is 200, 300 people contests. So I'm not really playing any Charger stuff today, but I think Eckler's fine. Keenan's going to be chalky, but I don't think he's going to be as chalky as he was going to be, because I think a lot of people are going to play CMC Kamara now. So that's going to like, there's no way you're playing Kamara, CMC, and Keenan. So I think a lot of the ownership that Keenan Allen was seeing 2 days ago, I think like 2 days ago, and if cash lock 2 days ago, people would have played Moss, CMC, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and Keenan in cash. Now I think that a lot of that Keenan ownership just moved over to Kamara. So I don't even think Keenan's going to be very high owned anymore, at least on DraftKings. So I'm not playing a ton of Charger stuff. Even both CMC and Kamara on FanDuel. Kevin, I haven't played CMC on FanDuel a lot this year. I think I did last week or the week before I did, but it was like the first time. I don't think you need CMC on FanDuel today, Kevin. Kamara, I would want. CMC just at his price, I don't think you need it. There's other guys that you can play over him. For FanDuel, for me, the cash pool would be Moss, CEH, Kamara, Bijan Robinson, maybe put Javonte Williams in there too. So that's like 5 guys for cash I would consider. So instead of playing CMC, I'd rather spend up at receiver. You have Chase, St. Brown, Keenan Allen. Devontae Adams, I think, is a great FanDuel play. He's only 7,400. That feels too cheap for Devontae, like especially on FanDuel where you're mainly hunting for touchdowns. Like, I mean, you're talking about, I think Keenan's 8,800 on FanDuel. Devontae Adams is 74. So even $1,400 to drop down to Devontae. Like, that's a sizable gap. So I kind of like Devontae on FanDuel as well, Kevin. But CMC, not a must for me on FanDuel. DraftKings, you have to have CMC and Kamara, I think. PPR, JV, Ford or McKinnon? I would take Jerome Ford. I feel just more stable with the touches that he's going to get. So I would go Jerome Ford. Browns are home favorites. Browns have played very, very good defensively at home. So I think that there's a good chance he's in a positive game script. He did catch a touchdown. It was like a weird broken play. He was wide open last week, but he did catch a touchdown from Flacco. So give me Ford over McKinnon. CH or Madison season long. I would just ride Clyde, I think. Are you willing to drop down to Browning over Justin Fields? Yes, I am, RJ. I think that Fields is definitely going to be popular today. He has a huge rushing prop. His rushing prop is over 60 yards. He has ran for over 100 yards in his last 3 games against the Detroit Lions. So I try not to get too caught up in historical stuff, but I mean, it is last year and this year, 3 times in a row, he's faced this team and ran for over 100 yards. But I don't know, like, I think he's a good play, but Browning, I mean, I do weigh heavily projections when I am building my cash team, and Browning projects so good for his price point. It's close. I think, like, there's definitely builds with both of them I played with, but I would lean Browning over Fields just for the savings, yes. Purdy or Fields in a season league, Jim, I'd go Fields today. I've been riding the Purdy train pretty hard. You guys know that, but I don't know. I mean, they're such big favorites today. He definitely could still throw for like 3 touchdowns, but I'd go Fields, I think, season long. London or more on DraftKings, Matt? That's a good question and a popular one. So I don't know. I do think Drake London is going to be really chalky, but what? So here's how I might play this, Matt. If you're not playing Justin Fields in cash, I maybe would want DJ Moore because then you're still getting some exposure there. If you are playing Fields, you don't need to stack him because you're wanting his you want him to run touchdowns in, you want him to break off long runs and stuff. So probably London on a Fields team, which you would need the salary anyways. If you're not playing Fields, you can play DJ Moore easier in cash because of the salary stuff. Like if you're playing Fields in cash, you probably need London anyways because that's saving you almost 2,000 in salary. So that's probably how I would play that. Nick, I think Washington from the Jags, I wouldn't play him on DraftKings. There's enough 3K receivers on DraftKings. You have Mingo down there. You have Jameson Williams down there. You have JSN at 4,100. You have like Elijah Moore at 4,500. You have Zay Jones right there at 3,700. So there's enough cheap guys on DK. I would not play Washington. On FanDuel, they left Washington. He's like almost the min price, which you never really get min price guys on FanDuel since they played on Monday night. So Washington, Nick, I think is a good play on FanDuel. DraftKings, that feels a little too thin for me. Matt, I would probably play Lamar. Tough for me to fade Lamar in like a season-long league. Like I probably would just play him most weeks. Keep the questions coming, guys. I'm going through them now. Where's that at? Herbert or Russ season long? I would just play Herbert. Same situation. I feel like I just wouldn't bench him if it were my team. I would just ride it out. I think I answered that. Browning over Flacco for cash for sure. I would not play Flacco in cash, but tournaments, I think it's interesting. John Williams, GPP Allen stack with Cook and Davis, running it back with Rice. I think that's fine. I don't know if I'd play Cook in that, but one of my main tournament teams today is Josh Allen. I think it's a good spot for him. KC, really, really good defense, but the last few weeks, they have not looked great defensively. I mean, they just got absolutely shredded by Jordan Love. So I'm sure, Josh Allen can have some success there. So I do like Josh Allen stuff today. Favorite player prop today. Okay, I'll give you guys a player prop today. This is like the grossest player prop I've taken all season. Sean, I think you're in the Discord, so you've seen this, but Kylen Granson over 12.5 receiving yards on FanDuel. You can get it at 11.5 on DraftKings, but I cannot bet player props on DraftKings because I don't know. They don't let me. So FanDuel over 12.5 receiving yards for Kylen Granson. If you can bet props on DraftKings, take 11.5 there. He isn't great. I think we know this, which is why the prop is so low, but he has had 50 or more receiving yards multiple times this season. So we've at least seen the upside that he can do it. Since he's given up the second most catches to tight ends this season, they've given up the most yards to tight ends this season. And this is a game where I think there could be some shootout potential. So I think the Colts will be throwing here. I think that it's the best possible matchup, and we've seen him go over 50 plus multiple times this season. Give me the over 12.5, and you can sprinkle 50 plus 880. These are insane odds. 50 plus receiving yards plus 880 when he's done it multiple times this season. And now he's in the best possible matchup to do it. 50 plus at plus 880. Kylen Granson today, that is my favorite prop. Mingo's still okay. Mingo for me feels too thin for cash. I think he's a good tournament play, especially if you're playing Kamara. You can play Mingo on the other side, but for cash, that feels a little bit thin. Foregoing a spend at wide receiver now with Kamara. Yes. Scott, Olave over Nico for me. Nico, monster numbers without Tank. I mean, monster. Like, we're talking like almost 50% air yard share, like just absolutely dominant numbers without Tank Dell on the field, but pretty much the worst possible matchup he could have today against the Jets. Chris Olave playing with no Michael Thomas, no Shaheed. Saints do need to win this game. They're at home. Give me Chris Olave over Nico. Cash receivers on DraftKings besides Rice. Cash pool, I think you're looking at DJ Moore, Michael Pittman, Rashee Rice, Cortland Sutton, Drake London, Smith-Njigba, Keenan Allen, and maybe Zay Jones. That's probably like the cash game pool. We have back-to-back questions, so hopefully that answered your guys' question. Quentin Johnston, True Love, you watch the stream a lot. I've seen you in here a lot. You know what my answer to that is. I will never bet on Quentin Johnston. There are two people. I am not a hater. I love sports. I'm not a hater. There's two guys I will actively hate, and it's Quentin Johnston and Zach Edey. I hate both of those people. I do not like Zach Edey. I do not like Quentin Johnston. They're just, I don't know. I can't deal with those. Drake London's going to be chalky and cash. I'm going to throw up. Yeah, I think he's going to be probably like, he might be the highest owned receiver. I'm not even lying. It's actually pretty crazy. Yeah, Brandon, I think both those guys are in play for cash, Purdy and Browning. I would lean Browning, But I don't think playing Purdy is a bad move in cash, assuming you're playing CMC with him, because you're just, I mean, the 49ers have the highest team total on the board at 30 points. And by playing Purdy and CMC, you're getting exposure. You're getting all those 30 points. You're getting exposure to all the points. So I've played Purdy naked in cash a couple times. So I don't think that's a bad move. I don't know what is the salary difference, though. I don't think I would have the money. On my current cash team, I would not have the money. And I don't know how I would get the money. I guess if I played Zay Jones at receiver, I could get the money, but I'm just not. I mean, that's no. 65. No. I'm playing Browning. He's too cheap. You meant Elijah Moore. Elijah Moore's fine for cash. No problems. I actually think so. Similar with CEH. I think like 4 days ago, Elijah Moore was going to be really, really chalky, but probably not as much now. I feel like people need the savings that a Zay Jones or JSN would provide off of that $4,500 salary. So I don't think Elijah Moore's gonna be popular. I think he's a good tournament play. I have no Lamar Mitchell, but I do think OBJ is an interesting play this week for sure. I think Zay Flowers is interesting too. Assuming kind of bad weather, they would scheme up a lot of like the quick stuff, which obviously benefits Zay Flowers. But Odell can take those quick slants, for touchdowns easily too. So I don't think anyone's playing any Ravens passing stuff other than Likely. I mean, Likely might get some ownership in cash, but that's about it. Favorite cheap tight end in cash, Jelly. I would go with you have Brevin Jordan, you have Likely, you have Cade Otton. That's probably like the pool of guys that I would consider. But I guess Kyle Pitts is in there too. There's no way you can play Kyle Pitts and Drake London in cash. There's no way. I think you have to pick one of them if you're going to do that. But I think most people will decide between Likely and Brevin Jordan. Josh Dobbs, Tony. So I don't think that's horrible. I don't play a large enough field to do that, but I do think that like a Dobbs, Hawkinson, Devontae Adams, or Dobbs, Jefferson, Devontae Adams, I don't think that's that bad. I think that's interesting for tournaments. I don't have any of it, but yeah, for like a 2,000 plus person contest, I think that's definitely fine. Bring back in a Falcon stack, Frank. I think Rachaad White is fine, or Mike Evans has just been crushing. So Evans or Rachaad White for me. Monty Revenge, yeah. I mean, he's already played the Bears. They played him a couple weeks ago. He did have a good game. It's tougher to run on the Bears than to throw on them, though. But I think Montgomery's fine in the tournament play. 3K or less defense. I still think Browns will be the highest owned, even with Lawrence playing. I mean, Lawrence is not going to be able to, like, even if he's playing, but he's not going to be able to move around. Their offensive line is banged up. So I still think Browns are the best play. I think Falcons are fine at 29. I think dropping all the way down to the Bears at 24. I think that's fine. Those are probably the Ds I would consider. Brevin, I think, is my favorite cheap tight end. Favorite to score besides Kamara and CMC. Favorite to score a TD. Give me. I think Ja'Marr Chase is gonna score again, so you can get him at plus money. I think Debo's always fine for a touchdown bet, and then in the Sunday night game, I like CD. But if you guys want another prop, I'm going to be betting Dak over 2.5 passing touchdowns plus 150. I will be betting that tonight. So if you guys want another bet, there's one. Dak has absolutely shredded the Eagles. His last 5 games against them, he has I think he's like 14 TDs and 1 pick in his last 4 or 5 against the Eagles. So Dak over 2.5 plus 150 looks pretty good for me tonight. Season-long questions. Stroud picked up Dobbs. No, I don't think you're crazy. I mean, Stroud, like, obviously it's on the road, horrible matchup. He doesn't have Tank now, so, like, you're limiting his weapons. So I don't think it's that bad to play Dobbs over him in season long. If it were my team, I'd probably just roll with Stroud and just hope he does CJ Stroud things. But no, if you want to play Dobbs, I don't think that's horrible. Eric Walker, Fields Rice versus Browning Pittman, or swap Moss to CEH and go Fields Pittman. I would keep Moss over CEH, and I would go Fields Rice over Browning Pittman, I think, Eric. 2 more than a Drake in DraftKings Cash. Yeah, Clinton, I don't think that's horrible. DJ Moore, Javonte versus Kamara Mingo for cash. Brendan got, I think you have to play Kamara today, so I would go with that. Here only for the QJ. Yeah, you guys know. I mean, I am not a hater, but that is one guy. He tilted me to no end in college because he just wasn't good, but would somehow score these like insane touchdowns where guys would like fall over and he'd catch a ball off his chest and then like score a 70-yard touchdown. It's like insane. I don't know. I hated that TCU team though. I hate Max Duggan. So I was just a hater of that TCU team, and I was happy that Georgia beat them by 75 points in the national title game. They shouldn't even have beat Michigan. I don't know how they. I hate Michigan, but I don't know how TCU beat Michigan in that semifinal. That was insane. Punt tight end in cash. Yes. I think that's fine. Mingo or Palmer or Bateman. Mingo for me, Tony. I think Mingo did like. I guess he could maybe get kind of chalky because there's people talking about him, but I don't know. I feel like Zay Jones might be higher owned than Mingo with Lawrence, and now Mingo got like an actual role change last week. Like they got rid of Frank Reich. They way increased his percentage of first reads, and I mean they were kind of like forcing him the ball. So I mean we're assuming that Carolina's going to be trailing here as 7-point road dog. So I think we could see another big target game for Mingo. I don't know how good he is at football, but I mean, if he's going to get the ball forced to him, I'm at least interested. Is Baltimore the only game with weather? Yeah, for the most part. I mean, I'm not really worried about it, but that does look like the sketchiest game. I think Cleveland, like maybe there's some rain, but I mean, I don't know. I don't think it's enough that I would like not play guys there. Favorite cash tight end, Joseph. I think it's likely or Brevin Jordan. I think you just pick like whichever one you can fit. I would just build your lineup and then whichever one of those two fits in, I'd probably just plug that in. Leroy, yeah, I think Bijan's fine for FanDuel cash. Yes, Kyren Williams, good tournament play, but not for cash. Tournaments though, you can always play him. I mean, he has one of the best roles for a running back. Gets a lot of red zone looks as well. White, season-long half PPR, White, Bijan, Ford, Hall. I think it's White and Bijan for me. If it was my team, that's what I do. Likely or Njoku. If it's cash, likely tournaments, Njoku's fine. More Javonte versus Kamara Mingo. Give me the second one, Brendan. RJ, punt defense for me. I think you're just gonna play Browns Falcons or drop all the way down to Bears. That's probably what I would do. Tim, what's up? For full slate DraftKings cash contest, who do you leave out from CD, Dak, CMC, Kamara, Tyreek? That's tough. So, yeah, if you play slates like that with all the games, I mean, that's super tough. I think that of those guys, like, man, I mean, you have to play. I don't even know. I haven't tried to build a lineup, so this could just make no sense. But Tyreek, I would want, obviously. I don't know. He is 10K though is crazy. I'll stand firm. You need CMC, Kamara. Dak, you definitely don't need. Like you can play. Like I would play CMC, Kamara, and then one of CD or Tyreek, I guess, whichever you could get in. Dak, you don't need though. Like you can move him down to a cheap quarterback, especially if you have like CD or something. CJ, Pittman, Mingo, DJ Moore, JSN, Rice, Elijah Moore. Probably DJ Moore, JSN. I think. I don't know. It's really, really tough because I think Drake London and Rice are going to be the highest owned receivers today, honestly. At least how it's looking like to me right now. So it's tough picking between them. Like I don't know if I would want to fade Rice in cash because I mean there is a situation where that game shoots out and he just like goes ballistic. Like if he plays 70-75% of the snaps and he gets 9-10 targets in a 48.5 total when no other game. I mean, look at the totals on the board here. We got 30, 33, 39.5, 44, 41, 42. It's all red. Every total on this page is red except for the Chiefs-Bills game. So if there's like some weird thing happens where all these games suck and then that game goes crazy and Rashee Rice gets 10 targets, like it would be tough to overcome that in cash, I think. So I would probably want to play him in cash. Frank, I appreciate you. Matt, I would not play Gabe over Kupp. I'd just roll with Kupp and just hope that he somehow could do something. Not sure about best wide receiver below 4,900, but I'm pretty sure Zay Jones is going to. Yeah, I could see Zay getting some ownership. Yeah, Drake London is not a must for me. I would say Rashee Rice is more of a must than Drake London for sure. I think London's a good play because of his price tag, but I mean there are situations where Atlanta is winning the game and, I don't know, he doesn't get the volume. So I don't know. I like JSN at 4,100. I think he's a good play. Even if Geno's out, I mean, Seattle's going to have to throw the ball. Drew Lock is a capable backup quarterback. He's actually might be better for JSN because I feel like he'll just wing the ball randomly. But 4,100 is too cheap for JSN. I mean, look at what he did that game against Dallas last Thursday night or whatever that was. I mean, he had a monster game, and he also had that touchdown call. Like he scored a touchdown, and they overturned it, and I think it was a touchdown. So if he had another 6 points on his game log, I mean, we're looking at like a 20 DK point game for 4,100. I think he'd be more higher owned than he's going to be. So even if Geno doesn't play, I think JSN 4,100 is a good play. Zay Jones is fine. Elijah Moore is fine. Elijah Moore is a good play with Flacco. I mean, obviously they had a connection in New York. Elijah Moore had season high in targets last week. Jake Browning just shredded this Jag secondary. So I think Moore, JSN, Drake London, Zay Jones, all those guys are fine for me. All right, if you guys have any last minute questions, drop them in. If not, I'm going to go look at some final stuff. My cores are up on the website. If you guys are members, just go to dfskarma.com. Click on that core plays page. You'll see my cores. Anthony's is up. Yeah, RJ, go ahead. Anthony's is up. Matt's will be up soon. What's your thoughts on playing Hubbard in tournaments? I think it's fine. Large field, it's fine. I don't play the field size big enough to do that, I don't think, but I think he's okay. He did he played good last week, and that was a tough matchup against Tampa. I actually had him in my afternoon build last week, and I moved off him, and I was really, really tilting that. Field Zay versus Purdy JSN. Oh man, CJ, probably the first one, I guess. I just don't think I don't know. It's probably the first one for me. Yes, agree, RJ. Agree with that. All right, guys, thank you for tuning in. Like I said, I'll be back. Obviously, we'll have a video throughout the week. I have daily streams here on the channel too, 3 p.m. Monday through Friday. With that being said, good luck in your contests. I'll see you guys next week.